I was thinking this morning, what if they got everything that they wanted? I mean, what if they just got everything that they wanted? And I'm not talking about the MAGA base. The MAGA base are morons. They're followers, they're sheep. They have no actual beliefs. I'm not talking about cabinet members like Pete Hegseth or Tulsi Gabbard or Marco Rubio. They're just selfish, shallow, incompetent weasels. I'm talking about the ideologues. I'm talking about the white Christian nationalist ideologues, like some of the Project 2025 people, like Russ Vought, who's now in charge of Office of Management and Budget. White Christian nationalist, wrote the chapter in Project 2025 on consolidating executive power. I'm talking about Stephen Miller, deeply ideological, deeply racist, and is the third most powerful person in the White House. What if the ideologues got everything that they wanted? What would this country look like? And what do they think that the rest of us would do? So clearly Project 2025 is guiding this administration through people. Donald Trump doesn't believe in it. He doesn't give a shit about anything but money. But he has put people in place who care about this agenda deeply, like Russ Vought and Stephen Miller. A massive consolidation of federal power in the office of the president, to the point where they want a president who's a dictator. That's bad. But that could swing both ways if we continue to have elections. They're dismantling the deep state. Deep state for them is a code name for the executive branch, doing away with or completely defunding departments and agencies like the CDC, the NIH, putting Bobby Kennedy in charge of the National Institutes of Health to destroy it from within, doing away with the Department of Education, canceling the funding for things like the EPA, pollution, more or less defunding the FDA. We don't have food inspections anymore. Did people who voted for Trump really vote to do away with clean water, clean air, and food inspections? Is doing away with clean air, clean water, and food inspections somehow going to address their number one problem of trans athletes? Speaking of, essentially making it illegal to be a member of the LGBTQ community, taking away every single right and policy that is currently in place that protects the LGBTQ community, making gay marriage illegal again, outlawing gay adoptions, making white Christian nationalism a guiding principle for the executive branch in our government. No separation of church and state, religious freedom for Christians and Christians only. Some have argued that they want to have compulsory Christianity. It will be a law that you have to go to church on Sundays. Environmental deregulation, weaken the EPA, completely reject and do away with any and all climate change initiatives. As if that flood in Texas wasn't enough. That's in a red state. Hurricanes hit red states. Tornado Alley, red states. Most of the massive flooding we see in this country, red states. And he's doing away with FEMA. And we just started, we're about to start month 3 of hurricane season. Curtailing reproductive rights. Half of the states have effectively outlawed abortion after the Dobbs decision. They're coming for birth control next. They've defunded Planned Parenthood. ending woke policies in government. They've eliminated DEI across the executive branch. They've eliminated it in multiple private institutions like companies, corporations, and universities. That is explicitly white supremacist patriarchy. If you're a woman or a person of color and an LGBTQ person, by definition, you are not qualified for the job that you hold. So we're going to take that job away from you. Controlling the media, doing away with the Department of Education, private religious schools paid for by public tax dollars, ridding the country of brown people. Stephen Miller said he wants to get down our population down from 340 million people to 100 million people, and he wants them all to look like him, which apparently short, bald, and fucking creepy looking is now the MAGA ideal for a manly look. But he's white. He's also Jewish. He denies his own Jewishness, and his Jewish family disowned him a long time ago. But let's say that they get all of those things. Let's say that they get a country where the president is a dictator, the executive branch, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid included, is effectively gone, except for DHS and the Defense Department and the DOJ. It becomes illegal to be a member of the LGBTQ community, and if you are, you have absolutely no rights or protections in this country. Our government is explicitly a white Christian nationalist government, and church attendance becomes compulsory. There are no more environmental regulations. Corporations get to do whatever they want. Nobody in this country has a right to birth control anymore, and the government controls women's bodies from birth and through menopause. DEI is outlawed across the nation. Critical race theory is outlawed across the nation. The dictator president controls the media. Education is dictated by that president and is religious-based, paid for by public tax dollars. And Stephen Miller has rid this country of every single brown person before they move on to Black Americans and LGBTQ Americans and disabled Americans. That's what they want. And I think of greater importance in the 2024 election, that's what our electorate voted for. That's what they voted for. And Donald Trump won a majority of the vote. First time in 3 elections that he's done that. He didn't have to rely on the Electoral College this time. This is what people voted for. He denied any allegiance to or knowledge of Project 2025, but he campaigned against the deep state. He campaigned in favor of a unitary executive. He campaigned against LGBTQ rights. He campaigned about bringing religion back into government. He campaigned against environmental regulations. He got women's right to abortion overturned. He campaigned against woke everything and against DEI. He campaigned on doing away with the Department of Education. And his campaign printed up signs for his rally goers during the campaign, and the sign simply said mass deportations. So of the 10 points from Project 2025 that I just listed, he campaigned on 9 of them while saying, I want nothing to do with Project 2025. This is what our electorate voted for. A majority. So what's that country going to look like if they get everything they want? And what do they think the vast majority of the rest of us would do in response? And that's where my thought process stopped, because I got depressed. Have a great Saturday.